Hey everybody, welcome to round one of the 2020 Y Open here in Cheyenne, Wyoming at Dry Creek Parkway. My name is Coda Turner. This is Dale Ryden here with me.
Good to be here with you. We're watching some great players. We got Justin Cournoyer out of South Dakota. We got Kyle Griffin out of Wellington, Colorado. Both I think are right around 1,000 rated players.
High nines for both of them for sure.
And then we got you with us here, Coda Turner, out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Always nice to have a local boy on the card. And then Daniel McCachern, I believe he's out of Denver. So another Colorado boy. So kind of have a nice mix. We're covering all the surrounding states in a way. Well, at least a couple.
Yeah.
So here's hole one. It's a pretty standard 249-foot hyzer. You just want to make sure you position yourself where you're not blocked by a branch or by those shrubs right there that he's hitting.
Yeah, those can be pretty unforgiving if you're too deep in them.
Yeah, well, and you don't want to go long of this basket either. That's a good point.
Kyle
He
looks
went
like
a little lower.
Looks like he's doing the same thing though, hitting those branches on the right.
There is an opening or two in there. It's not an easy putt through, but sometimes you can get a look. Oh, that looks like you pulled that a little wide, right?
Yeah, first throw of the day.
Got Daniel here. Everybody looks like is throwing mid-ranges or putters. Again, you really don't want to go too long on this hole.
I think we were all throwing putters at it, and Daniel went off a little left there, but he should be wide open for his putt. Ooh, well, wide open might be a bit of an overstatement with all those branches around the basket.
All the branches and trunks. It's hard to be wide open.
Looks like Kyle did line up that gap you were talking about.
Yeah, he's kind of having to lean over for it and get a little tricky with it, but that was a good run.
There's a lot to work around. Oh, and Justin looks like he punched through all that.
That was nice. It's always kind of a relief when you get up there and find out you're on the good side of the trouble.
And it's always a good way to start the round too. That's not.
No, that's not how you like to start it, although some of my best rounds have started with a bogey.
Kyle's going to clean up his par real quick.
It looks like you'll clean up that bogey. No real harm done this early in it.
And Daniel will also tap out his par and we move on to hole two. That was a really good birdie on Justin's part on that one.
Yeah, he got kind of lucky punching through those bushes, though. That can go either way. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Hole 2 here is a pretty tough hole. You really have to get it up high to get over the bushes, so you want to kind of flex one or out.
And oftentimes there's a wind that's not favorable for throwing your disc high.
It looks like Justin caught the middle tree of those 3 trees on the left. You kind of want to throw it towards them and flip it to the right. Kind of like Kyle's doing.
It's a little short, but it's right in the middle of the fairway, wide open.
Yeah, easy 3 from there, and you can run a 2 from there.
That looks like a good drive.
Yeah, looks like Daniel got a pretty good one out there.
It kind of just faded out on him.
Yeah.
But he's still open for that putt, though.
Yeah, as long as you get past those trees, you're not in any real trouble.
And that one slipped out of my hand immediately.
Oh, yep, over in the tall grass.
And I want to thank the spotters on this hole, because this hole can be a definite slowdown during tournaments without spotters out there.
Looked like you got a decent approach on that one, as did Justin there.
Daniel has a little bit of branches in the way, so he goes to a knee to get underneath it. Just can't get it quite high enough.
Yeah, it can be tough to run that long of a putt from your
Looks
knee.
like Kyle was a lot closer than we thought.
And he actually went with a throw on that hole, or on that instead of a putt. Oh, just right off the chains.
That was left out of the hand. That was just a bad putt.
Kyle
It
to
happens.
save his par.
Which he does with no problems.
Looks like Justin's got a little bit of work to do for a par. Shouldn't be too much trouble. Oh, well. Okay, well, shouldn't be too much trouble, but sometimes the baskets just say no.
Sometimes the best putts are the ones that bounce out.
Right? Because I was straight at the pole, not even very high. You and Daniel both tap out. So that'll drop Justin back to even, and looks like you're down at 2 over par now. Kyle and Daniel and Justin all at even.
And we come to the first par 4 of the day. It's a pretty big crush down to the right side of this fairway here is going to give you a nice look at the basket. Just like that. You want to just come right past that tree or to the left or right of it. Just it eats so many drives, so you just want to make sure you're not stuck in it.
In it or right behind it.
Ooh, Daniel caught a little bit of that center tree and faded off. Ooh, right at the edge.
Looks like
of
he
the,
stayed safe there, but
Yep.
yeah, he's really pushing, ending up in that creek over there. And it can be tough to have a throw out of there. Those branches are hanging over in your way.
Huge hyzer out of Justin.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want. Just make that next throw almost nothing. Just an easy approach throw. That one started maybe a little wide, but it's hyzering, so no harm done. I don't myself prefer to be that far to the right. It can be a tougher approach shot, but at least being safe is always a nice thing.
And Daniel with the sidearm out of trouble over there, and that's a decent shot. It's a good out from where he was.
Yeah, definitely. It can be a blocked putt, but at least there is a putt to have.
It looks like Kyle was a little bit more cut off by that tree than he seemed and had to go with the patent pending. Pulled a little right. Sitting right over by Daniel from the looks of it.
Yeah, they'll both have a similar looking putt. That was a good choice by playing that. Oh,
Ooh.
Nice. By playing that Annie, you kind of took the road out of play. Didn't have to try and put it over the road and hope for it to cut in time.
Those Andes risk the creek behind a lot more, though.
They do, that's true. Good thing you clipped that branch, I guess.
That play that Justin had there, that nice soft hyzer to the bottom of the hill, that's going to guarantee a 3.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy tap in from there usually. 'Cause this is always a scary putt.
And it's a tough shot through all of those trees there.
Pretty much any putt that's circle's edge or even a little inside is scary on this hole. It's so close to the water there.
And those
Oh, that's so lucky to have stayed safe.
good bids from both of those guys for the birdies.
Here's that putt by Justin here. Like you said, pretty much guarantees him the 3 being there. As long as you're down at the bottom of that hill, it really takes a lot of the fear out of this putt.
Putting level to it and not down at it with
Yeah.
that water behind it.
Yeah.
And
A
Kyle's
good
gonna,
par from Kyle, from where he was at.
And same with Daniel.
Same with Daniel. That second throw was amazing. As was yours. Great birdie.
Thanks, man. Trying to get back down to par myself, and Justin back down under.
Yep. Back down under par. Looks like Kyle and Daniel just kind of holding steady. Hole 4 is another pretty standard hyzer. But the way the creek and the out of bounds on the left play, it really makes for a narrow fairway, and it makes it really kind of intimidating. You see a lot of this, just kind of sawing them off, not wanting to get in too much trouble.
And that little grass strip up there is safe, so if you end up above the wall, you can still end up safe. But most people don't try to tempt the sidewalk that much. I kind of tempt the creek a little bit too much, but end up staying safe. So
yeah, and as long as you're not too deep in that bush, that sometimes isn't too bad of a look even.
Kyle's putting a decent run on it from the looks of it. A little short as well, but dead center of the fairway.
Yeah, like I said, it can be tough to really put enough on a throw just because you get nervous of pulling it and ending up in the creek, or getting it too high and ending up over the sidewalk.
That was a great drive from Daniel.
Yeah, that's pretty much how you draw it up. Oh, just a little bit short. That was a good run, though. That was a pretty long putt. Kyle get his 2. See, at least you're not, having to dodge branches. Oh, those chains just did not want to let it drop in, though.
A little bit high on the basket, and it got pushed out. Oh, and a little bit low.
It was crazy, though. It looked like it rode the chains all the way down, and then they just swung it back out. It was a good-looking putt. You did what you had to do. That was just a little high, like you said, and then unfortunate.
And then another tap from Justin as well.
Yeah. Everybody pretty much cleaning up their pars. Yep, Kyle was the only birdie on that hole. And for the length of it, you'd expect a lot more birdies than you actually see, but that creek and sidewalk combo really make it kind of intimidating off the tee.
The hole one's a nice straight shot along the creek the whole way. There are guardian trees along the right-hand side there until you get about 50 feet short of the basket. Then it opens up to the OB. And it's a little bit right, but he should be safe.
Yeah, it looked like that last branch kind of caught him, and he should be right under that probably.
Justin flipping up a putter at
Oh,
it.
not quite flipping up. That'll give him an easy 3 at it. He'll have a look at a 2, but it's kind of a longer look. Like you said, that tree is probably right about that 50-foot opening as well.
I let mine go just a little bit too low. Didn't give it enough.
Looks like it'll be a pretty open look from where you were,
A lot of us are throwing putters and mids at this and just kind of going for that flip over at it.
Oh, and Daniel just found the opening in the trees you were talking about.
Yep.
And that creek is so close to this basket, you don't want to be right of it at all. That'll be a good approach from Kyle. Should give him a look.
Justin's got a nice little hyzer look at this. And in. Beautiful shot.
That was just hyzered right in at the last, just at the right time. That was pretty.
Still walking.
That was a heck of a putt there. Oh, and these baskets are just not letting them in. I can see your frustration there.
It's a game of inches.
Yeah, it is. It's a good par save from Kyle.
I just run up and tap out real quick.
Looks like kind of discussing where it went out. Oh, and just a little bit high.
Bogey at Daniel on hole 5, but that's not out of the ordinary, really.
No, that OB is so close. It really is pretty common, actually, to see at least one bogey on the card.
Justin will go down to 2 under, and Daniel will join me at 1 over as we go into hole 6, which is a very, very similar shot, but it's a little bit more open for those hyzer play.
Yeah, it's not a big hyzer unless you go really high, but it is, you can play a little bit of a hyzer, kind of like Justin's doing here, just a little fade at the end.
But that creek is still just as close, if not closer, on this basket than it was on the last hole.
Right.
And
I
Kyle
think that's true. It might be a little closer.
doesn't quite get the flip he was looking for, and that's what you kind of see a lot on this hole. A little bit left, right by that manhole over there.
Yeah, it is pretty common. It's, that's making sure you're away from the creek. Now, I believe you're throwing a putter at this.
Yep.
Oh, right over it.
I didn't
wow.
throw a link at this one.
I liked how it flipped up for you and just kind of cruised straight. That was
nice.
nice.
Like there's one sidearm out of this card, and it looks like he's throwing a Firebird at it, and that's a great shot as well.
Yeah, I like the sidearm for this hole. It's pretty wide open on the left. You have plenty of room to swing it out.
You're fading toward the OB.
That's exactly right. There's a lot of danger on the end there.
Kyle gets a good bit at that from circle's edge.
That's another one of those scary putts straight at the water that's pretty tough to give it a good run. It's a good birdie from Daniel there,
great putt.
though.
Bounce back after that bogey from the last hole and just take that stroke off and keep on rolling.
Yeah. Looks like you're from a pretty similar spot. Oh, just a little bit low.
I'm letting all these left and right putts get in my head. And
Yeah.
Justin just played this perfectly.
Well, and he's got such a nice routine on his putt. I find if you have a good routine on your putt, you really don't have as many issues with nerves because you just let the routine take over. He's a great example of that, watching him play, so. Good cleanup from you and Kyle to take your pars.
A couple birdies on the card, a couple well-deserved birdies on the card.
Yeah.
Some great shots.
Justin's starting to pull away a little bit.
As we get into hole 7, coming back the opposite direction, up toward the tree by the path there. Now the path is safe, thankfully, but those aspens right there have really started to force a shot shape on this hole. It's either an Anheuser or a sidearm at it. Justin's going with the Annie, and goes a little right and deep, but that's a wide open putt to a nice low settled basket in that little crater.
Yeah, another one of those where you're just putting downhill.
Daniel tries to sidearm the same Firebird and gets a little over top of it and sets it in that long grass.
This is looking good from Kyle.
Straight at it.
Wow, that was nice. A little short, but that's a good shot. Looks like you're going with the sidearm as well. That PD3 just didn't turn out for you like you were hoping, it looks like.
I did let that go at a little annied, more than it should have been. And Daniel has circle's edge putt for his 3.
Yeah, left a little bit of work there, and this downhill putt can mess with you sometimes.
I got blocked off by those branches and didn't have much of a window.
Yeah, that can happen on that left side for sure.
Oh.
Wow. Looks like Justin is also just outside the circle here. Seems pretty open though. I don't think any of those branches are in his way.
He's just on fire right now.
Yeah, just automatic.
Another good birdie on
yeah.
Kyle's part. Still kind of underneath those branches.
Yeah, they really are hanging down more and more as time goes on. They kind of seem like they got trimmed back at one point and they've just filled back in. Daniel will clean up his bogey and get out of there, it looks like.
Daniel's having a bit of a roller coaster right now, but Justin is just on a... That was a turkey, I believe.
I believe so.
Kyle taking his birdie as well, not letting Justin take off too far.
Well, and this one here is I feel a lot tougher birdie to get, because you have to play a pretty big hyzer to get over there. And if you go a little too far, you're in the trees, and if you come up short, you're in the trees.
Or OB.
or OB.
Unfortunately, that part of the concrete there is actually safe.
Yeah,
you can see the OB just a little bit on the right hand side there.
Yeah. That is a good point to make. Not all of this sidewalk is, because only part of it really crosses the fairway.
Kyle goes huge with that hyzer. And I think he actually punched through that second row of trees.
Yeah, I didn't quite get around to get a look at it, but it did get through to the other side there, so he'll have an open look. As long as he's not pinched off by those aspens by the basket.
Ooh.
And that one almost got me.
Sometimes the best play is to just aim for the cameraman.
I have heard that before, actually.
That was a Firebird let go early on Daniel's part, and it ended up hitting the parking lot up there by those vehicles.
Luckily, I don't think it hit any of the vehicles, just the parking lot, though, so that's a good thing.
He's
looked like he threw a good approach shot
pretty
there.
Open to try to get that 4.
Kind of a long putt for a 4, but it's definitely an open look for it. Justin got himself maybe, 15, 20 feet for his 3. Looks like you actually have an open putt look at it.
Punched through just enough, but didn't give it enough.
Now, that's a pretty long putt from back there. I'd say that's probably 80 feet from that tree.
Kyle looks like he's edge of circle too about. Ooh, and puts a good run on that.
Yep, looked like it went right over the top of it. Just needed to be a little lower. Here's that look for Daniel's 4.
Oh,
boom.
And yeah.
That's how you do it.
That's a great save.
Yeah, you can see he was still a little frustrated that it was for his bogey, but that was a great putt. And Justin just doing what he does, put the disc in the basket. Oh, and he's flipping it upside down there. I guess that's one way to go.
Yeah, he does that every now and again.
Yeah. It always feels kind of weird to me. I do it when it's really windy out, but it feels weird to me. He must be more used to it, I guess. So Justin and Kyle both took the pars. Oh, and so did Coda. Only one bogey on that one, and that's one that can really dish him out. So that's actually pretty good.
Can come into play very, very easily.
Yeah, especially if you clip the tree that Justin hit. He got lucky enough to kick straight down, but it can send you OB. I feel like more and more this or some sort of overhand throw is getting to be the only play that is available on this hole.
Well, let's see what Kyle can do here with this backhand. There is an Annie flip that you can do that can get you all the way there, and he got over the trees, and it just fades out a little bit and gets him back in that little rough area.
Yeah, at least it didn't look like he's too deep in there, so he might even still have a chance at his 2 if he's not too blocked off in there. Looks like you're going with the thumber. Like I said, a good overhand shot is a good option on this hole.
Circle's edge, open putt. I'm not going to ask for anything more than that. Looks like Daniel's lining up the same thing here.
Yep, looked like it came up a little short. Turned and dropped on him a little faster than he expected.
Still a nice open shot from there.
Yeah, and that's an easy 3 with an approach like that especially. That's no problem.
Justin kind of has the back window here. Oh,
ooh, and off the rim.
That's such a tricky shot to line up. That was a great bid.
Yeah. Ooh, great birdie.
Finally, I have a putt that sinks.
That was a good one, too. This hole is not known for giving up an easy birdie, not since those aspens got as tall as they are.
Oh.
Oh, and Kyle did have a pretty open look at that, but just a little low. Clean up his par and carry on, I guess. Justin and Daniel looks like he'll do the same. So now we're going on to hole 10 here.
Back down to even again.
You're down at even, and
everyone else kind of cleaning up your par on that hole.
Nobody's really distanced themselves from you too bad
I feel
yet.
like that hole doesn't average much lower than par.
No, for sure. Hole 10 here is actually kind of a neat little shot. I find it to play a lot shorter than it says the distance is.
Probably play closer to 285, 290.
Yeah.
It's a putter shot. I'm pretty sure we're all throwing putters at it.
And yeah, with that downhill to it, it really is a good play for it. 'Cause you want to start it left and just let it drop to the right. Looked like Justin's going a little more straight at it.
Yep, and I believe that's a Cenis, I think.
Oh, okay.
No, actually no, there is the sidearm line. Again with that Firebird.
Yeah. Looks
That's a
like
great
that'll
shot.
work out great for him. And another shout out to one of our spotters there, Kevin. It's always nice to have spotters out on the course. We really appreciate all their efforts.
Great birdie for Kyle.
Yeah. Having to lean out of the trees a little bit there, but made it work. Just like Justin's using a judge there.
Straight in.
Straight in. They seem to work pretty well for him. Is this one of your P1Xs?
Yep, that's my putter.
I really like those as well. Ooh, a little high and right on that one.
As soon as I let it go.
Oh, and those are the ones that hurt.
The comeback.
Yep.
It hurts. And Daniel for his birdie, finally.
Yeah, nice birdie.
Took a while to get to him, but we finally got there.
With a drive like that, you're going to have to wait a little bit. And you'll clean up your bogey, and that'll finish up part 1. Looks like Justin's at 5 down through 10, and Kyle at 3. And you and Daniel are both at 1 over.
Yeah, Kyle's not letting Justin get too far away from him right now. He just wants to not let that gap build.
Right. Well, hopefully you guys will come and join us for part 2. We'll enjoy seeing you. Thanks. Bye.